4 steps to higher self-worth. So this is for anyone who's been struggling with a little bit of insecurity lately, feeling a little undervalued in themselves, anxious, maybe about new things that are coming into their lives that are positive and good things, that is challenging them, bringing up a little bit of nerves and insecurity. And if you recognize any of this as a signal of your self-worth, your self-value, your self-esteem not being quite where it needs to be or where you thought it was, this can be really helpful. There's all sorts of signals for this. Say, for example, if you want to have a new experience, but you're sabotaging yourself in some way. You know, consciously you want it, but subconsciously there's something that's coming up that's holding you back. And it's a very physical boundary. It's a very visceral thing. You feel it and you kind of back away from that space. So I can kind of feel this about at the moment. It's definitely in me, and I'm always pretty connected to what's going on for a lot of other people too. So those things tend to be lined up, and this is generally what drives these videos that I make for people, and they resonate with some of you in the right way, and that's awesome. So here's the 4 steps to start raising your self-esteem and raising your self-worth. Okay. Number 1, reflect on the messages you got growing up. Reflect on the messages you got growing up. Sometimes these can be really explicit and really profound. You can be actively told that you're not good enough, that you're ugly, that you're not worthy, that you're useless, etc. Okay, and which is awful. A lot of people have been through that though. It can be also really subtle, just little criticisms, little knockbacks, little kind of, and generally it's a lack of acceptance, a lack of who you are, and a lack of recognition of your natural self-expression, of your natural beauty. And those things can be about your character, about your appearance, can be about your passions and interests, you know. So have a think about that, reflect on that. Where have the criticisms been about me, right? About who I am and what I'm about. And where's the lack of acceptance been? Has the messaging been that you are only worthy or good enough to be seen when you do this, and you're not when you do that? Did you have the message that you're not worthy of being seen when you express yourself for who you are? Then you have to adapt to be somebody else so that you can please your parents, essentially. Although this is also a thing that exists within the wider culture, that messaging exists everywhere. It's on every billboard in every magazine. So reflect on the messages that you got growing up. Where were the little subtle or explicit put downs, criticisms about your character, appearance, self-expression, interests, passions? Think about that, okay? Because you would have started holding that back so that you could show up in a different way to the probably parental relationship, to gain that acceptance, abandoning yourself in the process, not realizing that you're doing it, right? So this lowers your self-esteem because you start to form beliefs because of this, okay? And that leads us into step 2, which is, what did you decide to believe about yourself? What did you decide that it meant? What did you decide that it meant? You had to come to some kind of conclusion about this. And the conclusions that you come to as a child are always, I am or I am not what, because that's the only way you can perceive it. You cannot consciously filter things out. And the core beliefs come in the form of, I am not good enough. I am not worthy. I am not lovable. I am not wanted. I am useless. I am ugly. I am bad. I am stupid. Okay, you may have even actually been actively told those things very, very explicitly too, which is you know, more painful. But still we form the same kinds of beliefs, whether the message is subtle or very, very explicit. So what did you decide to believe about yourself? Okay, reflect on that. What did I take that to mean? So then we're really going to get down to it, because if you then realize that you have that belief, underneath it will be an emotion. Underneath it will be a negative emotion, because every single time you receive that message, you felt pain because you weren't being seen. There was a severance of connection to your attachment figure. So what is the emotion under the belief? Is it hurt? Is it sadness? Is it anger? Is it a bit of both? Is there a bit of guilt there, or shame? So ask yourself, what is the emotion underneath the belief? Go down into the body, take your attention down into your body, put it there, and allow those emotions to be switched on when you access that belief. Feel them in your body, feel them in the depth of your body, where they are deep down. Allow them to expand and move up through you. Notice where you want to block on the way up, right? Are you going to swallow it back down? I see that all the time. Are you pushing it right back down from like your solar plexus area? Is it reaching the eyes and then getting pushed back? Okay, notice that. Let it come out. Let it come out of the eyes. Let it move out of the top of you. Let that energy through. That will make space for a higher emotion and a broader perspective, through which you will be able to access all of the positive emotions, beliefs, and resources that you need to make you break through this barrier. So let the emotion out. It's no good inside of you. Let the emotion out of you. And then finally, number 4, my arm's aching from holding this phone up. See if I can switch position. There we go. Finally, number 4, be your own adult. Okay, be your own parent right now, because now you have a conscious mind. You have a fully developed brain. You can now communicate with your unconscious, and you can deliver a different message. You can process out the emotions that glue together that programming, and you can start to install some new software, right? So give yourself all of the positive messages and recognitions and acceptance that you need, or you needed to hear, and start replacing all that negative shit, right? This is about getting in touch with who you really are, because you do know, be underneath the pain, but you do know your qualities, your passions, the depth of your character. What do you really bring to the table? Use the feedback, the positive feedback that you've had from other people that you haven't quite believed, and bring that in, right? So recognizing your true beauty, you know, and do this internally, but say it out loud too. Say it out loud, scream it out, write it down, glue it up, like put it up on your fridge. Maybe not with glue, maybe with blue tack, but you know, affirm it. Okay, practice that until you start to feel. Do it for as long. Do this whole thing for as long as you need to, until you start to feel respect for yourself, until you start to feel appreciation, gratitude for yourself, until you start to feel love for yourself, value yourself. So that's a little 4-step process of how to break through that. It's quite simple, probably not easy, but definitely worth it. So essentially practice that until you start to see and feel your own value. Instead of looking for reasons that you aren't good enough, start looking for reasons that you are good enough. Shift your focus, change that programming. You can do that, and you can raise your self-esteem. You can break through those barriers, and you can be open to having amazing new experiences. Hope that was helpful. See you in the next one.